Hello everyone, welcome to week two's discussion. So, before I start, I want to clarify a little bit administrative stuff. I received several emails regarding the grading and also the lecture quiz, and if I can, extend the deadline, if I can change the grades. So, for those kind of matters, I'm not in charge of them. I'm not in charge of grading, I'm not in charge of, the deadline or setting it up or extend it or anything. I'm not in any position to change your grade. I can't. If you want to redo anything, I don't have the access to change it. So, for those kind of matters, if you email me, I think I emailed some of you back and saying that you probably want to talk to someone else. And most of the emails I probably didn't reply because I don't know who you should talk to, because most of all TAs working for this class are probably just dealing with discussions and exams, but not the homeworks, because all of the homeworks are online and graded by the system itself. So for us to change the grade or for us to extend the deadline, I'm not sure about other TAs, but I can't do that. It's impossible for me to do it. If you have an emergency, you can always email the professor. Okay, so I will answer questions about the materials of like the class or maybe of our own discussions. I'm not sure, like, if you usually when we're in a physical setting, some students will ask me, "Oh, I couldn't attend today's discussion. Can I do something else?" But since this is all online and all of the discussions are pre-recorded, so technically the discussion shouldn't have any administrative questions that will bother you. So I'll be happy to answer if you have any emergencies that relate to the discussion. I'll be happy to answer the questions related to class materials, but just for grades for the entire class, grades for your lecture video, for your lecture quizzes, I couldn't answer those. Okay, so let's start with the week two's materials. The takeaway for not week two, last week's material. So the takeaway for last week's material is the production possibility frontiers. So, PPF, we introduced the two types of production possibility frontiers. One linear, the other bow shape. And usually the assumption for these type of production possibility frontiers are we have two GUs. Okay, so one can be cars. The other one can be, I don't know, maybe computers. Okay? So, computers and cars. The question is, why do we have two different shapes? So why don't we just always use the linear one, right? Because it's mathematically cleaner and easier to understand. It has a static ratio. It's not gonna change that much. It's just so much easier to work with. Why do I have this bow shape? Where does this bow shape come from, right? So to answer this question, we need to understand. It goes back to last week's discussion. Opportunity cost. So when we draw the production possibility frontiers, we first decide how to draw the bound. All right, say now I know that I have cars and computers. It doesn't matter where you put which one on which axis. So say if I put all of my resources into computers, I'll get a maximum amount of computers, right? Which is this point. And if I put all of my resources into cars, when I say resources, I refer to, labor, materials, etc. Okay? If I put all of my resources into cars, I'll get the maximum amount of cars. And if I divide these two, if I divide the resources into producing these two goods, I may get a set of combination of cars and computers. And now I'm drawing out the linear line, because one assumption is the opportunity cost in this case is constant. And we will like this assumption a lot because it makes the graph easier, makes everything easier, makes the calculation easier. But this assumption is mostly, almost in all settings, wrong. Because now let's think about this question. Why is the opportunity cost always constant? Say I'm a worker. Okay, I'm a technician. I know how to build a computer. I'm really good at it. So I can work really efficiently. If you want me to make cars, it may take a lot of time for me to understand, wow, this is how a car is manufactured. This is how, I should do. I have to learn a lot first and then start building cars. It may take much more time for me to build a car, comparing with car maker or like car technician, something like that. Okay. So when I put all of my resources into producing computers, I'm happy. I'm a computer technician. I know how to build it. But probably a lot of car workers are not that happy, right? Because it takes much longer for them to make computers. So in this setting, if it's linear, we're assuming that regardless you're car producers or computer technicians, we have the same opportunity cost. Everyone has the same opportunity cost. But that's not true. I'm specialized in making computers, and the car makers are specialized in making cars. Our opportunity cost is definitely different. So this assumption is wrong. Well, I wouldn't say wrong. Maybe it's true in some settings, but in most settings, it's not correct. So even though a linear production possibility frontiers can give us a mathematically cleaner and easier way to understand it, but it's usually not right. Then how do we decide bow shape is a more realistic shape? Well, still, we have two types of goods, cars and computers. Okay, and if I put all my resources into computers, I have a maximum amount of computers. If I put all of my resources into cars, I have a maximum amount of cars. Okay, and when everyone is working on computers, I'm a computer technician, so I'm happy, but the car workers are not happy. And government or the central planner or whoever is in charge of this economy realize that. And they're like, well, some workers are specialized in car production. Maybe we should change our current setting. Okay, and what should we do? Maybe put some workers who are specialized in making cars out of the computer industry and put them to the car industries. So we will lose only a few people, but get a lot more cars. Okay? As you can see, the amount that change in the computer is not that much. Okay? This is, let's say maybe just two computer. Okay, I'm just giving out a random number. But maybe I get 10 cars. Why is that? Because those workers who left the computer industry are not specialized in producing computers anyway. So when they're gone, we didn't really decrease the production of computer that much because they're not good at producing computers, but they are really good at producing cars. So only a few workers can produce a lot more cars. All right, And the government keeps changing their strategy, keeps putting more people into the car industry. And gradually, at some point, all of the car workers are gone. So all of the car workers stayed in the car industry, and all of the computer technicians stayed in the computer industry. And it reaches to a point that if we move one more worker out of the computer industry, it actually make a huge loss to the computer production, but only a little increase in the car industry, car production. Because, say here, because I am a computer technician, I'm not that good at producing cars. It takes many more time for me to produce a car. So when I leave my computer industry, I will produce a lot less computer. This may looks like 4, okay? But only a little cars. This probably seems like 1 car. All right? And the government keeps putting more workers into the car industry. Eventually, all resources into the car industry. And no workers are in the computer industry anymore. Even for the workers who are really good at producing computers are in the car industry. Okay? So, as you can see, initially when they're transferring computer workers to back to the car industries, the operating cost is not that high. We only give up 2 computers to produce 10 cars, right? Because those people have a different operating cost. For them, they can make cars very easily. But then gradually, I reached the point that I need to use more opportunity. I need to suffer more loss in the cars. I need to give up 4 cars to only produce 1 more. I need to give up 4 computers to only produce 1 more cars. Because when it's reached to a certain point, the operating cost is different now. As a computer technician, I may not be that good at producing cars. So it's a much higher operating cost for me to produce cars compared with those car workers. So this makes more sense because in most of the markets or in most of the economy probably have different specializations, and workers have different specializations or different working abilities. People's operating cost is not homogeneous, or maybe or I would say operating cost is just not the same. All right, so giving a linear production possibility frontier is simply not realistic. And of course, I'm not saying that it's realistic for economy to only have 2 goods, but in this simple model, bowl shape production possibility frontier is just more realistic or closer to our reality, closer to our real world. Okay, so I think this problem could maybe on midterm. Okay, I think it's important. I don't know. I think it's an important question. And it may be on the midterm 1. You probably want to study a little bit more on this part. And a question that we may ask is, let me see. Say we still have the same economy. They're good at they only produce 2 type of goods: cars and computers. And then a possible question could be, can you decide the shape of the production possibility frontier? Maybe it's multiple choice, maybe it's short answer, I'm not sure, but maybe you can just maybe we can ask like which one is more realistic, a bow shape or linear or whatever other shape, and then we already explained a bow shape in this case is more realistic. And maybe if it's a short answer question, maybe ask you to explain why, and you can explain the opportunity cost is different. And then we may ask, well, which combinations are feasible and which combinations are infeasible, which combinations are desired. So which production combination are feasible, infeasible, desired? Why? Well, we know production possibility frontier is kind of like a boundary, right? Whatever is inside this frontier is what? Well, it's feasible. Okay, we can produce any combination within this production possibility frontier. Whatever is outside of this frontier, well, is it desired? Yes, of course. The more the better, right? But is it feasible? Well, it's not feasible. We simply don't have enough resources. Maybe not enough labor, maybe not enough land, maybe not enough factories to produce these many goods. So it's desired. We want these combination. We want these things. We want more, but not feasible. Then we have so many feasible combinations, right? Which one should we choose? We have these many feasible combinations. Which one is the best? Right? Which one should I choose? If I'm the central planner, or you're the central planner, you're in charge of this economy, which one is the best combination? I need to make a choice, right? Well, we know that inside this frontier it's feasible, but it may not be desired. Why? If, say, I choose to produce here, is it feasible? Yes. But is it desired? Probably no. Because I know with the current resources I can produce more. This point is better than this point. So the orange dot is better than the purple dot. I know this is a better one. I know there is a better choice. Why don't I reach to the better? I know my resources can produce much more than the purple point, right? But orange one is better. But is that one the best? Probably no. Because I know comparing with this one, I have a better choice here, right? And I keep trying to reach to the better point. Eventually I realized, oh, wait a second. The production possibility frontier is the best one. It's a combination of the best choices I have. All of the resources are used up. The production reaches to its highest level, maximum amount of level. And I couldn't reach to higher ones. And it's still feasible, still within my ability to produce. So only when your production point is on the production possibility frontier, it's feasible and desired. Okay? So, say, for example, same setting, and we answered above questions, and the third question could be, say the economy has two party, okay? Car party and community party. And their party agenda is obviously like, if you're from car party, you want to produce more cars. If you're from commuter party, you want to produce more commuters. All right. So initially, the economy is at car party. Is in advantage of car party. So car party is in control for many years, and they set up a lot of policies to produce more cars and less computers. Okay. Here, so they're producing a lot more cars comparing with computers. Okay. So now that commuter party has a policy to educate people and then say, well, we need a cleaner environment, and technology is the one thing, computer is more important, programming could make intelligent cars, or maybe like say smart cars, and also cleaner cars, eco-friendly cars. And people start believing in them, believing in this policy, believing in this education, and people's mind change. People start, leaning towards the computer party. All right. So, car party say also realize that technology is the one thing, and they realize maybe they can produce more eco-friendly cars. That is going to be better, but initially we need to have a little bit more computers to to make the technology the one small. So now it's at both parties' interests. At both parties' interests to produce more computers. Okay. So the question is, which party will benefit more from this change? Intuitively speaking, of course I would think about, well, if I'm the commuter party and you want more computers to be produced, I definitely think a commuter party should benefit more out of this policy, right? Out of this change, right? But it may not be that case, because don't forget that initially we're at a very high level of production of cars, but not so high level of production of computers. So for car party, look at it. They can simply move from this point to this point, or even say be a little bit more dramatic. Let's say this point. Okay, so look at the change in the production. For car parties, they didn't lose so many cars. The production for sure decreases, right? But it's not that much loss. But they gain a lot of computers. But of course, it's ultimately a victory to commuter party, right? Because commuter party did get a lot of computers. But don't forget that it's at both parties' interest to produce more computers, right? Car party only give up a little bit of cars to get more computers. All right. So sometimes it's not that clear that when your party's policy is getting implemented, you're bound to be the best. You're bound to be the beneficiary. Not necessarily. When it's in this case, it's pretty. It's actually pretty beneficiary for the car party as well. because car party can use the computers, the technology once, and for a little bit, and then guide the commuters to produce more eco-friendly cars. So yeah, with economic knowledge, we can realize a lot of the political events may not look like what it is looking like. All right. So another, I guess I will stop with the production prospect frontier. Another important question is trading. I wouldn't go too much into details of trading because the professor already gave the most classic example of trading, and also he gave you really clear figures, really clear tables. But I think for the trading, definitely just know how to calculate opportunity cost. Know that both economies get better off with trading. I think a lot of people have this myth that when you have two economies, one stronger, one weaker, and when they're trading, it's always the stronger one gets the benefits. But it's not necessarily the case. From the lecture video's example, we know that both countries can get benefits. So I think these are the most important things from week 2's lecture. Let me see if I still have anything more to talk about. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, you can email me, and I think these are the most. I personally think this is the most important. These are the most important materials from week 2. But of course, definitely do the homework questions. Email me if you have any questions. You're also welcome to come into my office hour if you have any questions that you want to ask me. Okay, and I will see you next week.